Leadership Summit.
We did?
Yeah, we just had the Leadership Summit in San Diego, right?
Yeah.
Like over the weekend.
Yeah,
that was fun. We filled up the room and stuff.
Yes, we did.
And it was a nice weather too.
Yeah,
Very
it was
good
perfect.
weather.
It was perfect.
Perfect.
We were
That
right
you
next to
guys
the
went to a
ocean.
yacht club, right?
We were in a yacht. It was really fun. So we enjoyed our time there. We also enjoyed Leadership Summit. There was a lot of stuff to talk about and what we learned from a lot of the leaders. So
Yeah, and today is a special day. We have a very, very special person.
yes, we do.
And I think, Fred can introduce this person, and I think you know him more than we know him, right?
Yeah, I've known this person for 7 years now. This gentleman was introduced to me at one of the trips that he qualified for in Mexico. It was an interesting story because he was speaking our dialect, so that's how I approached him and said,
So what was that dialect for the viewers?
it's Bisaya. He was speaking Bisaya. So it was interesting. After that, we became brothers and another mother. That's basically what he calls it. So this gentleman has been in the field for some time, in the medical field. He'll tell you his story. And now he didn't start as a 1.6 million earner, but he actually started from the bottom. So it's a great story. We'll hear everything from him, and we'll make sure that you guys can see him live tonight too, if you guys are interested. All right, so we'll have Neil Acamendras.
Oh, we have our viewers clapping for you, Neil.
Wow. Welcome, Neil.
Thank you, Ace.
Welcome.
Thank you for being here.
And by the way, you're not local here, so you're in NorCal, right?
Yep, he's
That's
from North
right.
California.
Nice. So Neil, typically the way we set up is, we talk about, you as a person, and that way they can kind of see how someone, in this field or in this industry kind of started. So a little bit, maybe share your background. By the way, for the viewers, it's not required for you to be a nurse to be in this podcast or in this industry, right? Because Ace and me is also a nurse when we started the business. And I remember one of the convention when you spoke, that kind of like sparked an interest to me and inspired me like, oh, he's a nurse. I can relate as a nurse.
Yep.
And I know as a nurse, you get paid, pretty well, pretty decent, right? And you can live a comfortable life. You can buy the things that you want. And a lot of nurses, the first thing they buy is like houses, cars, things like that. So knowing, like seeing someone on that stage and, earning, and was able to replace that income and you quit nursing kind of like blew my mind. And I remember like every convention, like I know the first convention, like, oh, I'm doing nursing now part-time. And then the next convention, I quit my nursing. And the next convention, your wife quit nursing. So it's a pretty interesting story. So so maybe a little bit of your background and how you started, what do you do before, things like that.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, James. And first, I would like to thank you, Brother Fred,
You're welcome.
James, and Ace for the opportunity of being
welcome.
here. This is actually my first time. And I look at that TV there. I feel like in a TV station. And by the way, for the viewers, I'm telegenic in person. That means I look better in person than on TV. But thank you guys for being here.
That's a good
Because honestly, I really have high respect for you. I consider you really great leaders in our industry. But yeah, just to answer your question, James, my background, let me start from the time we came here. November 15, 2005, that I couldn't forget that day, first time to set on U.S. soil in Minnesota, along with my girlfriend at that time, my wife now, Christy. And it's a lifelong dream, fulfilled dream. And just like millions of people who want to come to America. And one of the other dreams is to experience snow. Mm-hmm. And I remember just about 30 minutes, I guess, from the time we landed, the snow started to fall. And the following day, looking at the backyard filled with snow, I couldn't help but cry. And another lifelong dream. So we took our state board exam for nursing in Minnesota. Uh-huh. And after that, just about 2 weeks after, we went to Florida, worked there in the nursing home in a place called Winter Park, Florida, in Winter Park Towers. So I took care of Alzheimer patients, not easy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
30 residents.
Difficult.
Yes.
Working night shift. And by the way, 2 years, perfect attendance.
Wow. Employee of the month, huh?
Of the year.
I should get that award, but
Of the year.
and then $15 an hour.
Okay.
So that was such a transition. So you were a nurse in the Philippines, right?
In the Philippines, I graduated nursing, yes, but after that, I actually went to pharmaceutical industry.
Okay, okay. And then from Philippines to snow, and then back to sunshine in Florida.
Right, in Florida. And then the follling year, they increased our salary by about 15 cents. Not bad. So that's 40,000 a year.
Yeah.
Hard work, and then we moved to California. Initially, we wanted San Diego, but we ended up in Sacramento area. So we've been living in a place called Roseville, California, 30 minutes away from Sacramento since 2009. And so I work in the 10 years career as a nurse, and the last 5 years in cardiac telemetry unit, taking care of patients having heart attack, those kind of heart problems, arrhythmias, AFib, all those kind of things. And probably you want me to tell the story how I got here.
Yeah, so that's kind of similar story for myself as well. So after graduation of nursing, because I got petitioned here after graduation, went directly straight here at California. You know how NCLEX in here is kind of harder than other states, so it took a while, and then also took care of a lot of. Actually, I tried to venture out to clinical because I've never been on clinical side, so I know what you were saying about like residential is not easy because like the one I applied before was like 100-bed elderly patient, a mix of Alzheimer's and regular patients. And I remember this because like the first day I went there, I was a trainee because that's the first day I will start my job. And it was, I gonna get trained by a nurse at the time. And I was wondering like, okay, there's 100 patients. There should be a lot of nurses in that facility. So it was just her and me as a trainee, and we're gonna pass meds. So that was like, okay, that's kind of scary. That's a lot of like medication errors that's kind of about to happen, right? The next day I didn't came back. It's like realized like, no, that's not for me. Because, as learning nursing in the Philippines, it's all about quality care, making sure we give the best care for our patient. So that's kind of like, clinic, this industry is not for me. So I venture out to a different, type of nursing. So I've been to a non-profit for behavioral health. So I did quality management, so training nurses, doctors, things like that, which kind of aligns to what we do. So for you, how did you transition from, and I'm sure you've never been to a business probably, or have you had business in the Philippines
Did
before?
you have that experience?
Or sales or anything like that?
Yeah, as I mentioned, after college, actually, I went to the pharmaceutical industry.
Sales, right?
Yep. And then, that's where I got the experience.
Oh, okay. So that's the same, like the ones that goes to doctor's office, things like that, right?
That's correct.
So you have that kind of like entrepreneur mindset. I know Ace had the same type, right? So maybe you can share that.
Yeah. So just a little bit about like while I was doing nursing, I was already doing sales. So my background really was doing direct sales, direct marketing, really working with people. Hey, this is a product that you can possibly get. And I would use these funds back when I was still in school to pay for, books, to pay for meals, for food. So it is a little bit of background, some entrepreneurship already before entering Freedom Equity Group. So we have a little bit of that but it's not like we need that background before joining the company. Yeah.
So you had that background for sales, and then you went to nursing. Then how did you venture out to this industry, specifically the insurance industry?
Yep. So it all started with the living benefits, and when I finally listened to it, because I ignored it for about probably 4 years.
Okay.
4 years.
I know Joel tried to set up an appointment, but I've been hearing some, not all positive, but some of them not so positive things about it. And I thought it's the same banana or the same solution being offered. And I mean, I thought, who else would be my client or market?
Yeah.
So I ignored that for a long time until one day, actually, I came from work, night shift, and there's one nurse who chanced upon me in the parking lot, and he actually joined another IMO, and he invited me, set up an appointment. Last minute, I back out, and then he went to another friend who joined him, and then he came to me. And when I finally listened, I told him, you know what? I also have another friend who's into that. Why don't we listen and try to compare? So I listened to my friend, Joel, and that's when I finally understood what living benefit is all about. It makes sense. It's something I can really relate to, because I remember having a patient, 38 years old, heart attack.
Yeah.
Wow.
With 2 young kids.
Wow.
And he's a doctor back in the Philippines, physical therapist here. That's his pre-med. And when I heard about something, a solution, a program, that if that happens to you, you can have the money at the time you need it the most, that really got my attention. And it's a no-brainer. It makes sense. So, and then I compared the two companies. I like the fact that here we have choices for the clients. So that's why I started doing here in FEG, and then doing it part-time, probably 15% of my time, because we're busy. We got 2 young kids.
Plus your night shift, right?
A night shift, very tired. But lo and behold, first 8 months, replaced my nursing income.
Yeah.
Wow. So it was presented to you as a client.
As a client, I started as a client first.
And then what opened your mind to switching it to, maybe I can do this?
Yeah, so when it replaced my income, just 15% of the time that I put in, how much more if I put more, like 30, 50, or 100%? So just few months after, I've decided to first cut down my hours part-time in nursing to do a little bit more here.
Yeah.
And eventually quit. And I was very scared when I quit, because what if this wouldn't work?
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
And the mortgage would continue.
Yeah.
And you have 2 kids at the time.
And we get 2 kids. And at that time I quit. My wife also cut down her hours. So, that's a big change in terms of guaranteed income.
Yeah.
And to jump into the unknown. But turned out to be one of the best decisions I've ever made.
Yeah.
Because here I am now. It's been more than 6 years.
Yeah.
I know.
And my wife already retired from nursing.
Wow.
And then now we're helping a lot of people retire also. In fact, there's a lot of growing nurses in our team who also retired. One of them is a case manager. Nurse case manager, just started January of last year. And in less than a year, she announced her retirement.
Wow.
Nice.
So it was kind of a similar feeling with Ace when he shared it last time, when he shared his background. Because it was a scary time, because he's going to have 2 kids at the time too. So choosing, should I have a job security, having those benefits and things like that versus the business, right?
Yep. And it's a scary decision. And we always want the viewers to feel that it's a good way that we can relate to anybody who's trying to make a transition, right? Yep. And we have to understand that giving some background, nursing is a very a good career. We make a lot of money, but we also have that stress of really helping patients. But we have to understand that that income, that security that we're gonna lose by jumping from this career into what we're doing now. We have to feel that transition has to be, is it worth it? Like, is it worth it? Yeah. So if it's okay, I want to talk a little bit about that transition, about, is it worth it? What, if I may ask, Neil, so that way the viewers have an idea. When you were a nurse, how much was the pay during that time?
Like annual
pay?
About $120,000. But remember, I started with $15 per hour in Florida, and then when we moved to California, it's a highest paying job for nurses, especially in Northern California.
But cost of living is high.
It's lower. That's why initially we wanted to move to San Diego, but then when we learned that the pay in Northern California,
it's higher,
like in Sacramento area, not in San Francisco, is much higher. We started with $40, and then the cost of living is significantly less. So that's why we moved there in Sacramento area. And then when I quit my job, it was $70 an hour, so that's about $120,000 a year guaranteed income.
See, 120.
So it's so hard to transition. I mean, where can you find a replacement?
Yeah,
$120,000 a year. But by God's grace, I think you mentioned that already. My goal was just to replace that $120,000 income because my back was already hurting, and I prayed to God. God answered the prayer. Now, if you compute that 1.6 million is $120,000 a month.
Yes.
Now, from 100
from a year.
Instead of a year.
Instead of a year.
And that's the keyword is you mentioned is like, should I stay with $70 per hour guaranteed salary versus jumping to something that there's no guaranteed?
Mm-hmm.
It can be a day that it's zero. It can be a day that it's 100,000, right? So that's kind of like a big jump, or a leap of faith to transition from something that's guaranteed to something that's unknown, right? And I think that's the question.
Yeah, that's
right?
exactly the same story because we look at it. We're moving from 70. Ours will be about $40-$50 an hour here in Southern, and we're trying to make it that we're making this much, but transitioning from that mindset of secure income into getting something that we don't. It's what you call is perfect. The unknown. We don't know what we're gonna get here. What if this fails? What about the mortgage? What about the bills that has to be paid? So we look at that. When you were looking at this, you were trying to lower the hours part time, right, in our current job, and you started to put more hours here. Can you give us a little bit about the psyche on that? What was going through your head during that time? And because we want to make it relatable.
Okay, so again, it all started with the living benefits, that there's something that is good for people.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought of myself, it would be too selfish on my end not to share this to anyone.
Yeah.
And surprise, that in the process, it also replaced my income while helping others.
Yeah.
But I was not convinced yet because it's about mindset. It's not easy to transition. What if this won't work? And I had an employee mindset. I want a guaranteed income. And that's a good thing about having a job, but it's also guaranteed to be about the same income.
Yeah.
That's true.
Here,
Yes.
non-guaranteed, but basically you write your own check.
Yeah.
Unlimited.
Yeah.
So which one would I choose? But for a long time, I was used to having an employee mindset, having a guaranteed income. That is why I wanted to quit right away, but I did not do it. I cut down my hours.
Yep.
And there's a PTO sick hours, and it so happened my mom had a surgery. I had to utilize that, taking care of my mom and do a little bit more of this business until I was so convinced that already, wow, this keeps on going up.
Yeah.
The income.
So that situation kind of like gave you a reason to like, oh, okay, I can do this even I'm not working.
Yeah.
And then going back to what you said is like the employee mindset, right? And we have a lot of associates that has that. So especially younger generations that joins the business, they're used to that employee mindset that it doesn't matter if I'm motivated to go to work. I have to go to work because I have to clock in and out.
Yeah.
So now transitioning to your business that I am my own boss, I don't clock in and out. How did you transition that employee mindset to an entrepreneur mindset?
Yeah. So just like the saying, the good thing about our business is that you don't have a boss, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
The bad thing is you don't have a boss.
Exactly.
So you have to be self-motivated.
So, yeah.
And it's hard, actually. because our mind again is wired into being an employee. It took a while to finally try to adjust and learn what it is to become an entrepreneur, a builder or a business owner. And again, I didn't even know how to make up my day, the schedule, what to do first.
Yeah.
I've just learned really along the way. It just so happened I'm very passionate in what we do, and I've made a decision to build a career here. In fact, until I get old, because I see the opportunity, and there's a lot of people who don't know about this.
Yes.
The chance to educate them, and again, the income just keeps on growing. So
That's what
I hope I answered that question. That motivated me.
So, like, one thing I wanted to say is I know that some of the viewers would probably want to know, and this is what I heard from you, and this kind of hit me when he said it, is when he was working as what was that nursing field?
Cardiac telemetry.
Yeah, so you told me how much stress it was to make sure these people are in the right medication, making sure, I mean, just in the middle of the night too. You're really tired. So you can make a mistake and someone can get really hurt or someone can pass away if you do the wrong thing.
Yeah.
That's a lot of responsibility. I remember you told me that, and that's stressed you out going to work, making, those things. So maybe you can tell me, you can tell everyone a little bit more about it.
Yeah, that's true. And that's why I really have high respect for the medical professionals, nurses in particular. I mean, people have no idea how hard they work.
Yeah.
Because I've been there 10 years. I mean, you're in a very highly stressful environment. It's a matter of life and death. You do multitasking and then working night shift to add to it, very tired, and you cannot afford to commit a mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you need to do it right. And if there's something also that you need to do and you didn't do, you can be in trouble too.
Yeah.
And I mean, and you don't know what to expect, because oftentimes when you come to work, you don't know who gonna be your patients.
Yeah.
I mean, what's gonna be the medical history, and you're only given like within 30 minutes to try to read the medical history and about these patients and look at the doctor's orders and all that.
Yeah.
So and here in California, it's primary care, so it's taking a toll also on my body, especially working night shift. So that's why I started to feel like there's a back pain, and I still remember having chiropractor, but not anymore when I transitioned to here. So especially right now during this time pandemic, I've heard from my friends who are nurses that it even doubled the stress level.
They're getting burned out fast.
They're getting burned out.
And you can't do anything you cannot think about quality of care and things like that just because of the volume of patients coming in that you really have to cater. I mean, by the way, it's not like throwing down nursing or things like that.
That's right.
But it's more of like appreciation and showing that all of us went through the same thing. It's just that we have to kind of plan an exit strategy, and you were right, because like one day I went to Cairo. There was this lady, and she was talking to the receptionist, and I think she's there to get adjusted for the back and things like that. And, jokingly she was saying, this is what I get from working, 30, 40 years of nursing. Is now I have to take care of myself because, take a toll on her health. So I think, a lot of times we need to see it's just not this industry, but another opportunity, an exit strategy that I can replace my income like what you did, and at least find a way that at least get my life back. Right. And that's just working. I also like, speaking of that transition and stuff, we spoke about it like a couple episodes too. When we ventured out on doing the business, and of course, most likely maybe you have relatives here and, friends that you have along the way. And those are the first person that you kind of want to share because you got excited to the business. I want to share the living benefits because it makes sense, right? And you have it because you believe on it. And, we mentioned like the thing about this business too is like your group of friends or your circle of friends that you try to share the living benefits with or the business itself, kind of sometimes either they backed out or they want to wait for you to be successful first, or some of them will support you, right? But as you grow to the business, your circle of friends also gets smaller and smaller. Did you have that obstacle too when you started, sharing the Living Benefits Crusade?
Yeah, it's just normal, and that reminds me that there are three kinds of people. One, they make things happen. They see the opportunity. They want to help others, like the platform that we have. Let's go. Let's make it happen. The second one, they wait for things to happen. Prove to me first, James, Ace. If that works, then I'll follow you.
Yeah.
So that's the second kind of people. The third one, Brother Fred, they wonder what's happening.
I don't know what's
How
going
come you
on.
quit your job? Are you crazy?
Yeah.
I mean, you venture into the unknown, and then here, come on, just stay here with us.
Yeah.
And misery loves company. Again, not to put down, I really have a high respect to all the workers out there, especially nurses, especially during this time pandemic, fighting the invisible enemy. Thank you for your service. You're like really soldiers in the battlefront.
Yeah.
But you're right. A lot of people in the medical field are stressed out.
Yeah.
And in fact, I remember one colleague always complaining because physically, I mean, she's getting old and she had to do it. And actually, she passed away last year. She retired, and a few months away, she passed away.
Wow.
So, I mean, this is how I look at it. There's only one life to live,
Yeah.
and it happens to be very short.
Yeah.
And this pandemic reminds us the brevity of life. So take the risk.
Yeah.
And what I ventured into here is really taking the risk.
Yeah.
But it's also a calculated risk. And I don't want to be on a deathbed one day and saying to myself, I wish I tried it.
Yeah.
I would rather failing. I would rather try even if I fail than not trying at all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because then you failed if you didn't try.
Yes, and I'm glad I did because it has changed our lives for the better. Provides not only replacement of income but also quality time for our family, for our kids. Our kids are loving it. Right now, we're doing it 95% of the time from home
Yes.
Wow.
because technology is on our side.
And that's basically kind of like what the pandemic showed is like, for me, I call it like an annual reset because it reset everybody to kind of rethink what they have. And that's why they were saying there's like a great resignation, they call it, because people now are understanding that working from home is actually nice because I can still spend time with my family. And but like you said, we've been doing this even before pandemic. We've actually been working from home and we've been doing it through Zoom and stuff. So
That's right.
we kind of like adjusted to that scenario. And the question is like, what are you going to do if there's another pandemic that's going to come? Are you ready? Right. So, so going kind of out of that transition that you had to, how did your family, especially your wife, adjusted to that? Just saying, one day you woke up and told your wife, "Oh, I'm gonna quit nursing. I'm just gonna do this full time."
Yeah.
How did that scenario happen? Like, what was?
I remember we were both crying that day.
Yeah.
Oh.
We cried
crying.
because it's a
Scary.
big decision,
Yeah.
scary, and not only that I would be quitting, she wanted to cut down her hours too. So just imagine the lost income there.
Yes.
And again, what if it wouldn't work? There's always that thing in your mind. So we were both crying, but again, and then my mom, I'm a very obedient kid because I believe in one of the 10 commandments to honor your father and mother.
Yeah.
And my mom advised me, don't quit your job. I mean, you work so hard for that, BSNRN, and you're going to do business, just do it part-time. But that's something that I did not obey.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I did not obey that part. My mom now is telling me you've made the right decision. She's happy about it because I've been bringing her here to, trips. There was a time we went to Europe for about a month. And that's something that I couldn't do if you're still working.
Yes,
Yeah.
right.
Traveling around the world, that's one of the perks or the opportunity benefits of having your own time, your own business.
Exactly.
So it's a trade-off. It was very scary, but again, it turned out to be one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life.
I think with Neil, and this is not only him, but a lot of people that are successful, it's like he came from that field that you have to check in and check out, clock out. He probably put that mindset into our business, saying I could do 5 hours a day, making sure you can do that. And I know you have like goals every week and every month. And that's the reason why this business is pretty much a guaranteed income as long as you're doing what you're doing for your goals every month. And I think that's like a lot of the viewers should look at it and say, it's not a salary, it's not guaranteed income, but you can make it yourself a guaranteed income by what you do, your abilities and what you do daily. Mm-hmm. But I think that with Neil, his work ethic is a lot different than a lot of people that come into the business and doesn't succeed because they're expecting more from it, but he's expecting himself to be more for the business, I guess. So it's one of those things I know that Neil does. He's always advancing every year.
Yeah, that's very like inspiring. Like every year, actually now it's like every month you're advancing 100,000 every month. So and then going back to the family setup. Did your wife adjust it easily because she's also working as an employee at the time? Now you jumping to a business side. Did she adjust it easily, or was there a doubt, or how did she supported you on that journey on transitioning?
Yeah, initially my wife is not really she's not business minded, but the adjustment was actually more of a good thing. What are we gonna do with the more hours that we have now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But it gives her the opportunity to have more time with the kids. Same thing with me. And again, the challenge is how do we gonna maximize the day? But the key here in what we do is just like the saying, you don't go out there to share, you share as you go, and just make it a part of your daily routine. But again, time freedom, that's what we really appreciate in this kind of opportunity that we have. Yeah, there's an adjustment, but I think right now we're pretty much adjusted.
Adjusted. I see you guys traveling everywhere. Yeah. And I like that. You share as you go. That's a good
definitely
message. And then so along the way of you doing the business, it's not always ups, right? There's always downs and stuff. Do you have or remember, if you don't mind, like what was the most like struggling time or down on you being on the business now full time?
By the way, you guys ask great questions. And I think it's all impromptu. So I commend you for that. Wow, I love talking to you. So this business is highly emotional.
Yes.
And it's a combination of factors for anyone to succeed here, not only having the right knowledge, attitude, and skills, but we are also in the people business, dealing with people. So there will be times you'd be in the low moments. That's what I call in the valleys, not only always at the mountaintops. So your question is, how do I deal with that? To be honest with you, I'm far from perfect, but I'm a spiritual person. I believe in God. So I take time to pray every day and read His Word, because I believe as I read the Bible, God talks to me, and whenever I talk to Him in prayer, He listens. So having that personal relationship with God. And there's also a lot of promises in His Word that anyone could just claim. Like the promise, what I like, I would never leave you nor forsake you. I have great plans for you, plan to prosper you, not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. And so whenever I'm in the down moment, I would just turn to Him, and He's the one who would lifted up my spirit.
Right.
So, that is why I give Him the glory, the honor, and praise for everything that's been achieved here, because I know without Him I'm nothing. But in Philippians 4 verse 13, it says, I can do all things through Christ who gives me the strength.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think also with your success is because God's blessed you and you listen to and follow what His recommendations are for your life. I believe it was timing that God said, heard your voice asking for help from work, finding another solution for your back or whatever your physical issues would be. And I think He gave this opportunity and said, this is one opportunity for you to look at.
Yeah, and I think, opportunities everywhere, we complain about things like, oh, I hate my boss, I hate my work environment.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to live in this house. I want to change the zip code. I don't like the car that I drive. There's always opportunity, but we don't have an open mind, or we don't open our eyes to outside, because we're still on that comfort zone that I'm still on this job. You know, like if someone tells you I hate my job and you ask them, why don't you quit and find another job? They don't have an answer to it. But if you offer them opportunity and they don't have that open mind, you know, they will find excuses or reason out, you know, not to do it. You know, most of the common ones, they will say it's a scam. You know, I don't want to do that, just because that's the thing they don't know.
Or understand,
And then the thing is, I think, you know, us that doing the business now, is it gave us the opportunity was there. It's just that it's something spark on us that opened our mind that maybe I should just try it. And like you said, it's not gonna hurt if I try it.
Exactly.
And I think the good tip too that you had was I didn't jump in full time. Although we have associates that did that, which is a scary decision, but it kind of also, you know, some people need, you know, to put themselves, you know, on that situation, and that way they have a reason to really get motivated. But you know, doing that transition, at least doing it part-time first and trying it, at least you still have that safety net that if in case something happens, I can always go back to my job, right? So that was a very, very good tip too. And I know like Ace did that as well, as you know, you did it part-time. Fred also did that too. And I think for us, we got lucky because somebody already kind of been doing the business, kind of mentored us, which is
it's different with
our
us
parents,
three.
you know? So
my mom's actually the one been doing. My story is very similar to like Petro's. I quit the job right away and just went full on with this, and that's what made me succeed. A lot of times, part-time is good, but sometimes that keeps them part-time. With you, when you decide to go full-time here, you have no other choice. And that's what made you succeed.
Back is against the wall.
Because you don't want to go back and beg for your job. You want to make sure that you succeed. And I think that's one of your success. That's the reason why you didn't look back. You just went forward. And I think that's for our viewers or the people that's starting this job or this business, we don't want you to quit your job, but it gives you a responsibility if you do. But
and the thing is that it's just not also the money itself. Like it's good to be a millionaire and earning, you know, millions a year, which I bet we never thought, you know, in our life.
Never thought.
I'll earn $1 million, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, you know, money is just a byproduct of what you do or what you love, right? But the thing is, it paves you way to do, you know, things and have that time and spend time with the person that you want or with your family. And those are the common things, like especially for Fred and Ace, because their families, like at least they can see their kids grow.
Yeah.
You know, but your story, you know, being a nurse, working a night shift, married now and have kids. If you still continue working, you might probably not see your kids grow up as
much as you do now.
Yeah, that's true. That's why there's a very good formula: time plus money equals freedom.
Right.
Yeah.
Because some people, they have a lot of money, but they don't have the time to enjoy it.
Exactly.
I mean, I know some professionals, doctors, lawyers. I mean, they have a lot of money, but no time. And on the other hand, I remember growing up in the Philippines, there's a lot of people, they have a lot of time, but they don't have the money. They couldn't even travel to one place to another.
Yeah.
But here, it gives us the time plus money, the freedom.
Exactly.
And our first few years in America is really tough. And that's why I agree with somebody said United Stress of America. It's really like a rat race.
Yeah, it is.
But
really,
now
it is.
I can tell you in all honesty that we're loving it.
Yeah.
If you have the time, you're going to enjoy America a lot.
Exactly.
Because America is beautiful. Like we just came back from San Diego. There's a very beautiful place now in Cerritos with you guys. Next week, I'm also invited to have there's an event in Phoenix, Arizona.
Yeah.
I mean, one of my goals in life is to be able to travel all 50 states. I
And
think
you
I
probably
have
do it.
halfway to go.
Yes.
But we have the time at the prime of our lives while doing the thing that we love and traveling at the same time. I want to visit North Carolina also. Houston, Texas. I mean, it's really amazing. And by the way, I remember there's one thing that you mentioned earlier, James. Those other friends trying to stay away in the beginning, but there's no permanent no. In fact, I would say 90% of them are now either clients or partners in the business or both. So there's no permanent no. And it's not really we're losing friends. We're actually gaining friends, even family.
Correct.
I mean, we have a lot of great people from Hawaii.
Yeah.
It's just going to mention Madeline, Glee, and Lisa.
I think I met that couple.
Yeah, and Erwin. So, and of course, Marie and the whole Hawaiian team and many other great people who become like family to us, right? Like you guys.
Yes.
We see each other that often.
Yes.
I feel like you're my brothers.
Oh, you are. So yeah, that's a good thing about the way in the industry, specifically in our company. I think that the culture that we had is not just business itself. One thing is the owners are, talk about faith most of the time, before money itself. But the biggest thing that I like and love about the business, especially our company, is it's like a family.
Yeah.
It's like a second home that you can go. Like we go to conventions and stuff, and we see each other like it was a family reunion. And especially your team likes to party. That's why.
Yeah, they like to enjoy life. But yeah, we definitely like feel like a big family. I've known you for a good amount of time, and I've seen you in the biggest events and vacations, and it's just kind of one of those things that we just grew together in this industry. So it's one of those things like I remember just Neil starting in the business asking me like, products and stuff. And then I was just, now he's the man, so it's everybody, like all the viewers here, you have the same opportunity as Neil does. I've been doing this for 17 years. He's only been doing it for how many?
6 years full time.
6 years. And he surpassed my income. So imagine what you guys can do, like all the viewers that's looking at this now. It's not about your experience or your time that you put into this business.
Or your background.
Yeah. It's basically, I believe it's your drive and what your goals are. And that's your passion for what you want to do and help people. And I think that's how you succeeded and became successful in this business.
And it's just nice about Neil's story too, is like, he's a perfect example of like from employment to being an entrepreneur. On top of that is nobody paved your way to where you at right now. It's you driving yourself to do that business and trying the business and being successful and passionate about it. Because some like maybe it's by force that they did the business, or somebody already did it and just passed down, right? But for you were by yourself doing the business at that time, and you went to the same struggles as other people. And that's a big thing, like what Ace is always mentioning about convention. And that's kind of like how he started too, is like when he attended the convention, right? And then he heard the 5 minute
story,
speak, right?
Yeah.
So
it's from a story.
If they can do it,
He probably heard yours.
Mm-hmm.
He probably heard yours.
Yeah, and then
During
now
that
you guys
time.
are traveling. I bet you never imagined to be in a yacht with the owner, right?
I mean, if you think about the story, and this story, I'm telling you, is like it's so inspirational. By the way, thank you, Neil, so much for being with us. But I mean, imagine this: you said that in Florida, I think it was Florida. I hope I'm saying it right. $15 an hour, right? And you had a raise, 15 cents, right?
Right.
And I remember this. Just this story is so inspirational. At one point, I remember it was just announced that you hit $500,000 a year. All of a sudden, a few months or maybe like a few months later, $1 million. So you think about that raise.
Yeah.
From where we're at now, $15
That's a raise.
extra 15 cents. Where else? What other opportunity you can get a $500,000 raise? Wow. It's this opportunity.
Exactly.
And is that kind of story like in a convention? You hear that in a convention. You hear that in an event. For now, you hear it in a podcast, you hear it in a video. You're just like, wow, what kind of opportunity are you doing? And what is this living benefits?
Yeah.
That is the beauty of really hearing that from someone who's made it, someone who's done it. And it gives us an inspiration that, hey, if he did it, I can also do it.
And then
Right.
the thing is also what inspiring too is every time you raise the bar. So when you hit that 500,000, it's not just you earning that money. You're also raising
People's.
Yeah.
100,000, 200,000.
Yeah. Other people's
every
success.
every time you accomplish something, there's someone also in your team accomplishing something.
Exactly. So someone's
So-
succeeding.
Yeah, so it's not just like all about me. It's all about my people below
Exactly.
me because I want to I want to grow as much as they want to grow too.
That's right.
And that's basically in our business. I mean, our business wants to make sure that everyone else grows. I know that when we came to the Leadership Summit, not everybody had the same opportunity as me and Neil. We had advisory board meeting, or actually a dinner in a really fancy Asian fusion restaurant. We had a private room, our own private bartender, and our own private chef. So it was a really, really good experience that first night.
And they're giving us massage while we're eating.
All peppered.
I forgot about that detail.
And the good thing is, like, that's not even it. And we had an ability or a chance to enjoy dinner the next day with the top 25 qualifiers. So that was a great opportunity for us. So those are the things that we look forward for now. I mean, I believe like the experience is more than what we earn, because the experience is always something that we can keep.
Yeah.
And that's true. I agree to that, Brother Fred. Experience is the best teacher. And by the way, I remember when we hit the 500,000 income, that same day, December 5, I couldn't forget that. December 5, 2018. And the fifth guy in our team, Raymond, couple, Joey Konanan, they hit that 100,000 income that day. And we also hit 500,000.
Nice.
Wow.
So you do the math, like 5 people, you help 5 people get to the ESP, 100,000 income.
Yep.
And that's what it means to build successful people.
That's right.
And that's why I like the saying, before you become a leader, success is about growing yourself first.
Yes.
Now that you become a leader, success is about growing others.
Yep.
Yes.
So my goal now has changed. Remember, my goal initially was just to replace our $120,000
Correct.
income. And now my goal is to help others become successful, to produce more 100,000 or more income earners, ESP holders.
Yes.
And by helping them, then whether you like it or not, you're going to go up too.
Yes.
Correct. And then, we are kind of closing to our time. But before I pass it to the final question.
Yeah. Asa has the final question.
I have kind of 2 points that I want to kind of ask, especially for both of you guys, right? How does it feel one day you woke up and you're a millionaire?
You want to answer first? I'll answer first.
Okay.
It feels the same. I feel more motivated. I feel like my confidence level is a different level than it was. I don't know if you feel the same way, but I just feel like it's more motivational for me. And now the ability that you can earn that much money and become a millionaire, I want more people in my team to feel the same experience. That's one of the things that I wanted to. That's how I feel about it.
Right. I agree to that. And it also reinforces the fact that anything is possible in life, especially here in America. It's a lot of opportunity. And I agree according to Wealth Report, that the financial industry is the number 1 industry in the world that created the most number of millionaires. Mm-hmm. Here we basically write our own check. So I feel the same. I'm not even thinking about that. But of course, I feel so blessed. This is an answered prayer. And I believe what the Bible says, that it's not really the money, the root of all evil is the love of money.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you don't become greedy and your heart is in the right place, you have the opportunity to help a lot of people.
Exactly.
And we can be a channel of blessing to many people, especially those who are in need.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's the good thing about what we do is we're helping people. And I think it's very important to, like Fred said, it motivates you more. And it gives you much more appreciation of, I'm glad I made that decision.
Yeah.
All that decision kind of led to this. And, like you said, you prayed for just to replace your income, but God opened you multiple, doors of opportunity and kind of led you where you're at right now.
Yeah.
And we're thankful on what happened and what decisions we made along the way. It's not a successful flight or journey. There's a lot of ups and downs, but it all came to this, right?
Yes.
You earned that $1 million. You earned that success, right? So before I pass it to Ace, is there one thing that you learned from your experience, from being a nurse to this, preaching about God's word, that you can, teach or leave a message to our viewers?
You share with our viewers.
Oh, yeah. So life in general is tough. It's difficult, especially during this time of pandemic. It reminds us, again, the brevity of life, that there's only one life to live, and that happens to be very short. And we ask ourselves, what's the meaning?
Mm-hmm.
What on earth am I here for? So here I know great meaning in what we do, but I believe the two greatest commandments, to love God with all your heart, mind, and strength, and number 2, to love others as you love yourself.
Okay.
Now, if we apply that in what we do here, the opportunity to help so many people, and then at the same time we get rewarded.
Mm-hmm.
All we need to do is to do what's right for others and being authentic.
Yes.
And also to take the challenge, just like gold is being tested on fire.
That's right.
The more you go through trials, tribulations, challenges, difficulties in life, that's what makes you stronger. Because the fire will gonna remove the impurities.
Yeah.
So I'm so glad that growing up, I went through difficulties in life, financially, even job as a nurse, very difficult, because the more I appreciate the blessing of today from our Lord.
Amen. So the $1 million question is...
Yeah, $1 million question.
And we love this. We love this question because, we've been doing this for multiple episodes now. The same question.
Everyone
at the
has
end
the
of
same
every
question.
episode. Every single one. And it's really cool because almost everybody has... We've never had the same answer.
Yeah.
Even the owners of the
That's
company,
true, that's true.
Different answer every single time. So the last question for today is, and I think you probably already said it earlier, but how do you define success?
Success to me is, living a life. I would rather live a life of significance rather than a life of success.
Nice.
Because significance is making a positive impact to other people's lives. And again, we have that opportunity here in our platform, here in Freedom Equity Group, the opportunity to make a positive impact to our clients. And like in my case, I got 3 clients already filed a claim, the living benefit check. One of them, Marla, and she became cancer-free. I mean, she focused on getting better, not to worry about money. And just about 2 weeks ago, they hit the 100,000 income.
Wow.
I mean, multiple
That's
benefits.
nice.
Recipient, and then later on became an ESP holder.
Yeah.
And then lately, I got a call from somebody in Washington. The agent actually became inactive, but somebody gave my name to that client. She got a policy 1.5 years ago, $250,000. She got $229,000.
Wow.
So anyway, I define success as having a positive impact to other people's lives, to allow myself to be used by God as an instrument of His goodness.
Nice.
Because I want my life to count not just here, but for eternity.
Yeah.
And again, I give the glory and honor to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
That's a good one.
Wow. All right. Any question, guys?
No, I just want to thank Neil for being
Yes.
here tonight.
Thank you.
This is a great opportunity to hear his story. I believe it's very motivational. I know that a lot of our viewers are very excited to hear from Neil. So thank you again, Neil.
Thank
You're
you. I
welcome.
appreciate
Thank
your
you.
time for flying here and being our guest to this podcast. It means a lot. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
guys. You've been great.
Thank you.
Awesome. Man.